Hello everybody, it's Donna. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. We're working on a card from Sam from Mixed Up Craft. This is her Crossover Pointy Card. Only today's card we're going to be doing it sideways. And when I say we, it's because I have a special guest today that I'm going to be showing how to make this card. So this is the version that we're going to be making. At the end of the video, I will show you, give a list of what stamps and dies and etc., what supplies I used. But for now, we're going to get started right into this card. Okay, so today I have with me my sister Chris. She's going to be making this. She's going to be making this card here in colors and patterns that she has chosen for this. She is a card maker, so this isn't going to be difficult for her to make. Hers is just going to look a little bit different than mine because she's picked different items. We're going to start with a 12-inch by 6-inch piece of cardstock because the card that we're making is going to be 6 by 6, and you just need to score it at 6 inches. So that part is okay. Then we also need a square for the inside of the card. For the inside of the card, this is an old Stampin' Up cardstock, but it still is perfect. This is 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 squared because it's just a 1/4 inch smaller than the card's going to be. So I'll have a 1/8 inch border all the way around. You need a square of 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 white, and another square of your whatever chosen color you're using. This I believe was Bermuda Bay, 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. Okay, so we're going to start by first making this pointed part right here to make the base of the card. So you're going to need to take your card base and you need to put a little tick on the front, whichever one's going to be your front. And we need to cut it in basically in half. So we need a mark at the 3-inch mark. Okay, so now we're going to need to cut it from that point to that point. So you could draw a line and use scissors, or you could use your trimmer. I personally would use the trimmer and just line up the points with the cutting edge. You're allowed to speak. Yeah, so that point to that point. And we're going to cut those off. And I'm not going to get rid of those pieces because we need them to make the other pointed parts. Yep, this one might be on up just a tiny bit. Nope, that's the score one.
I get confused with the score and the cutter.
But it's kind of nice having a score tool on this machine. Okay, now, since we have you can erase the little dot. Since we have it out, we're going to do the same thing with the 5 3/4, but we're going to take from the little dot to the corner. And that will give us the triangle we need for the inside.
Is this the same size paper, Donna? I'm sorry, I missed that.
It's 5 3/4 squared.
Okay.
So
Thank
it would give a little border all the way around.
What happens if my point's not quite a point, Donna?
You could do it over if you wanted to. You could put that in there and put that more at the point, which is probably what I would do. But because this is for the inside, make sure that piece is there though.
Doesn't matter if it's a little smaller
It's not going to make any difference.
Well, you can always be perfect, right?
No, you cannot. Okay, so this piece, these are offcuts. We're not going to be able, we don't need these for anything. We can use them for stamping a sentiment, but we don't really need them. This one just put aside for a second, and that one we need. This one's already cut, the perfect size, but this one we need to do exactly the same as what we did on the other square.
This is the layer.
Yeah, this is going to be the layer for the front. It's exactly the same as 5 3. Is that the right mark? Or is it? Is that the right mark? You might want to check it again. Because it's halfway. So this is 5 3/4. So we know it has to be at 2 7/8.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just because the mark doesn't go all the way down, I guess. Kind of deceiving.
Okay, these ones we need both pieces, so we want to try to get it as accurate as we can. These pieces that she's cutting are going to be the front ones here. Okay, before we put the cutter away, we know that these ones here won't match up perfectly on her things. If we want a bigger border, like it's not bad, but if you want a bigger border, we just need to trim a smidgen off, like 1/16 of an inch off the edge. So that's what we're going to do with these. You're just going to put a little tiny, just a smidgen off, just to give it more of a border on both pieces.
That looks like a quarter.
Well, your cutting line is here, so it would cut there, so just like that. Just a smidgen. And then, whoops, I would hold that. There's nothing holding it down. Okay, and then just try them out. Make sure it's enough of a border and it looks okay on both pieces. That looks all right to me. And they look pretty much the same.
Looks perfect.
Okay, so let's put that off to the side. I don't think we need the cutter for anything anymore. Or the paper trimmer, I guess. Okay, so now we're going to take this, your card base, bring your card base over. And we're opening it this way, so we're opening it this way. And we're going to attach simply the butterflies onto the bottom. Okay, so now we want to finish off the inside. So let's do the stamping of your sentiment. Are you putting a sentiment on the inside of your card?
No, Donna, because I'm just going to have sending hugs, and I want to put a personal
Do you want
note.
any kind of butterfly stamped, anything at all stamped? Nothing?
So this, we want it to glue it in here.
Yep, you could also, if you wanted one of these butterflies that you're not going to use, you could also put some up there if you wanted. Since you're not putting anything. It just kind of looks plain to me, that's all.
I think you're right. I might
Or
take
this bigger one. Because you want to use this one for the fronts. Oh, that one's too big, forget that.
How about the yellow one? No, he's too big. I think the little one in the corner would be nice.
That's fine.
So, but I can glue them on after I glue this one, right?
Yeah.
So I line it up with the pattern paper.
Pattern paper, yep. And that way when you close this should cover it up because it's slightly small. The front is bigger than the inside, so it should cover it up.
Perfect.
Okay, so now we're going to work on the front. But in order to do that, or put your butterfly down, we need to do some embossing for the points.
Now, Donna, where did this paper come from? Did you?
It's this paper.
Oh,
it was just cut out. I just cut them out.
With a die?
Not in this case. This case I used my scan and cut, but you could also fussy cut them. I had a bunch of them. I had a stash of them.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this eraser marks. There we go. Okay, so now we need to. Did you decide on an embossing folder for this, for the front?
Yes, I think it was the quilted one.
Okay, so we're going to do the quilted one. This one probably doesn't need any water on it because it's not that deep. It's very, well, maybe, I don't know. It's up to you whether if you feel you want to spray a little bit of water.
No, I don't think I need to because usually I get carried away.
Okay, just make sure the point has something on it. Okay, so we're just going to go and emboss this and we'll be right back. Okay, so we're back with the embossed pieces that we're going to put onto the front that are going to make this little design here. So this one's going to go onto the front fairly nicely. That looks really pretty. Then these two are going to go, these are the two side pieces. Oh, I can't pick that up. I think I want that one there and that one there because the cut line's down. And then those two pieces will go onto the side. So we're going to glue those down. Okay, so now this is how the card is laying, and those are the two pieces that we cut off. So all we simply want to do is move these points this way You can basically do it however you want, but it is important to try to keep the point, especially that point, right touching this, because that's what the card's going to balance on. So it needs that point to be right at that edge. Same if we wanted to do it that way. We wanted these 3 points lined up at the bottom. Otherwise, it wouldn't have anything to stand on. All right? So this point is at the top, so you just want it to look the same. So obviously, you're going to do it the same. So it's going to be as far over as you want. I put my points at the top of this piece, not at the top of the card. And then these 2 points I put on the edge. And then this point would come over and cross over, hence the name, the same way. So that's going to be up there, and then those points like that. So you can either glue these 2 pieces together first, just in that one spot, and then glue the whole thing down, or you're going to do one at a time. But you just have to make sure you're not gluing it to the card base. You're only gluing it to this piece, or else you'll just have your card won't open.
So I can pretend that I have an imaginary line where I put
Yeah,
my finger
exactly.
and then just kind of,
Yeah.
sorry.
No swearing on camera.
I put the glue in the wrong spot.
Okay, so now lay it down first and find out where you want to put your glue.
Because we got interrupted and I got...
There.
So from this point, finger mark from this point out.
Yeah. Is it standing up okay?
Yes, it's standing up perfectly. And the
Okay.
butterfly's right. So it has to
Okay,
be that
cool.
side.
Okay, so let's put this aside for a second.
Do we don't need any more glue?
Yes, you do. You need this.
Oh.
You need for your... Now, we used... as I said, I'm going to go through the things we used at the end of the video, but we just layered this all up to make the sentiment for the top. So you're going to have to just glue them all down. And then I would either use... I'd put mine up on dimensionals on top, but you can do whatever you like.
The last piece?
The last piece, yeah, when I glued it to my card. Just to give it a little bit more dimension. And speaking of that, because there is a lot of dimension in it, I'm probably going to have to use like a bouncy envelope, one of Sam's bouncy envelopes or something like that, because there is a lot of dimension on it. Now I think this butterfly is from the same paper pack, but I think it was the bigger one.
What, the bigger, like
The bigger,
12 by 12?
yeah, no, the same paper pack, same size, but the butterflies were bigger because it matched the actual stamp set that was available.
I'm just going to glue it down the center of his
Yeah.
body.
Yep. And if you're worried about it falling off, you can always put dimensionals underneath the wings. There, is it even? Dimensionals are a little bit forgiving until you push them down hard. Then, let's see, is it even?
I think so. I think it looks beautiful.
Okay, so can you see it in the screen there?
Yeah.
Can you see it? Okay, so there's
Not bad, folks, for my first time doing the pointed,
Crossover Pointy Card. Sideways.
pointy sideways. So you might not be able to see it, but you can get the top view. But let's put all
There'll
three
be pictures of the
cards in
thumbnail.
here.
So this is the one that stands up that way, and these are the two that go sideways. And I think they turned out lovely.
I like this color. I like this green too.
Yeah, yeah. This one's Bermuda Bay. I think this one is Just Jade. Okay, folks, I will be back in a minute, and I'll go through the supplies in the stamp sets that we used for this project. Okay, so for the first cards that I did, this is the one that stands on the 1 point, and this is the one that stands this way as a top fold. This is a side fold. I used the Flowers of Friendship stamp set as well as the coordinating punch to punch them out. And I just did them, I think it was 3 times each, and then some leaves, colored them with my stamping blends, put some Wink of Stella on it, and then I just embellished the centers a little bit with whatever embellishments I had handy. and punch them out, of course. For my sentiment on my two, on the outside of the card, I used, let's see here, from the Shaded Summer, I used just the Happy Birthday. For the inside of my cards, now this one had a really big space, and I was dying to use this one here. I love the stamp set for the big sentiment for the inside of your cards, and I like my cards to be finished off, just like you would on any card. So I used that on the inside. However, when I turn it sideways, obviously that big stamp set's not going to fit. Stamp's not going to fit, so I used the smaller one this way. I think that's all I used for mine. Now for the embossing folder on this one, I used the Absolutely Argyle. I don't believe it's available anymore. I believe it's retired on that one. This one I cannot find the embossing folder. It is buried under my desk somewhere. Somewhere it's on my desk. Okay, for my sister's one, she used the Discontinued Quilt Top one embossing folder. I love this one. I've used it a lot, and as a matter of fact, I have another video coming out where I used it again. Unfortunately, it is discontinued as well. She used the Eden's Garden Sending Hugs, as well as she stamped, I believe it was this one, just on her sentiment at the front to give it a little bit of interest. She did not put anything on the inside of her card. Okay, so that's all of that. I also used for the sentiments on the outside for all of the cards, I used the Stitch Nested Labels dies, which I believe are discontinued as well, unfortunately. I love these ones. They all fit inside of each other. For the DSP, most of it is, actually I believe all of it is probably just what was in my stash. The cardstock is Bermuda Bay. I believe that was Magenta Madness, and I think that's just Jade for that. But I mean, you can tell that anything, as long as the pattern is smaller on for the inside, I think anything would work really, really well. Okay, that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope to be back with some other special guests, and we will catch you next time.
Please subscribe and hit that bell icon to be notified each time I upload a new video. Thanks for watching, and stay safe.